Do you guys know what these are? I have the green ones, but there's also red ones. They are lentils, of course. And I didn't grow up eating these, but when I discovered how good they are, I thought, what can I make with these? And of course, I'm gonna make some soup. One thing that I did, well, let me show you something. When I put these in jars, that way I kind of at a glance without looking in a box or whatever, know how much I have left of something. So I have all these little jars going downstairs in the garage. But what I do is, I used to put the instructions for whatever I was making on the inside. I do this now. Do you do this? There's my instructions. So I don't forget how much water ratio. One thing you do have to do, like any dry bean, is you should, or legume, you should rinse them in cold water and pick out the ones that are kind of like weird, like, you know, don't look like the rest of them. And then they'll be ready to go. These are pretty easy to cook. I think they're easier than like dry beans for bean soup for this reason. You don't have to baby them. You don't have to soak them forever or whatever. All you really do is put them in, you know, you get the water boiling for X amount of time. I'll read it because I always forget. Green lentils, cooking instructions. Cover them with water, cold water. It says cover 1 cup with 3 cups of water or stock, like chicken stock or something. And then you bring it to a boil, but then you simmer it for just 10 or 15 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my soup pretty much all the way cooked with the water. And then I'll add the lentils in, bring it to a boil, take it back down for that 10 or 15 minutes, and they'll be tender, they won't be tough. What else is in lentil soup? Do you remember I like to do this with my freeze-dried meat? When I had that ham, I cut it all up, and I had just enough in here, I figured, for soup. So I have ham slices for soup. And then I'm gonna back up the camera here, but I wanted to show you that little label because what else we put in it, it's gonna be good. Okay, let me back it up. Back it up, back it up, like Gwen Stefani would say. I don't know, can you see that? Can you see my cutting board? Kind of, sort of. Okay, well, I'm just going to show you a couple things here. Celery. The mirepoix. Remember, celery, carrots, and onions. Chopped onions are sauteing on real low right now. Butter, because I like those cooked all the way. Okay, and as far as the celery, just take a wet paper towel and do that, and then cut that up into the size you want. Do the carrots in the size you want, but don't put this in yet, okay? Don't boil it to death. It's already cooked. And I think it loses its flavor when you do that. So I'm gonna show you when I get the mirepoix going, and then we'll add our stock. I'm gonna just use water. I don't have any chicken stock. I think I'm even out of that little chicken bouillon in a thingy. Probably out of that too. But it's a cold day here in Pittsburgh, PA, and it has not quit snowing. It snowed before we got up and went to church, and it has not stopped. I should show it to you, people who aren't from Pittsburgh. Now I'm gonna flip the camera around. Look at this. Let me just show you my cat, first of all, in the box. Where are you, Jasmine? She was just playing in the box. But I'm gonna show you outside the window. Come on over. Look outside my window. She says, yeah, look outside our window. There was a squirrel out there earlier, but isn't it beautiful? And it's still coming down. I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway, let's make some soup. I rinsed my lentils off, and I picked out kind of ones that looked a little weird, like they're real yellow or real green or split. There's a little bit more, but I thought, oh, I'll show you guys what they look like. Okay. And we're cooking. I'm trying to cook smaller quantities these days. Not always successful. But instead of like 3 cups of lentils like I might usually, I'm going to do 1.5 cups of the dry. And so then I have to do like 3 times as much water. So I'm going to put 4.5 cups Now, because my mirepoix has cooked, and I did find a little bit of stock in the freezer, and I added some water. But for the lentils, we're going to start with a cooler broth. So let me get that in there one more little bit. And then I'm going to add them to the pot. I'm going to add something else too. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. Can you see this? Yeah. So I'm going to add these in. Remember, we're going to bring this up to a boil and then turn it down, and in 15 minutes or 20 minutes probably, it should be ready. But I want to add one other thing as we're going to bring this up to a boil. Not the ham yet. I cut up the ham. See this was the end of a celery stalk. Don't always throw those away. There's good flavor. It's a little bitter, but if things like cooked on or whatever, it's better. I like them in my chicken salad or tuna salad, stuff like that. I'm going to grab something here. It's a bay leaf, okay? And bay leaves are super strong. They lend a lot of flavor. Look at that big old guy. He's all... So I'm going to throw him in, and I'll have to fetch him out soon, trust me. But let me stir this up. Okay, so let's bring this to boil. And then we'll turn it down, we'll add our ham. I want you to know something. I started this at 5:38. It is now 5:54. And in 20 minutes more, it'll be ready. Okay, we're coming down the stretch. Okay, it's been like more like 22 minutes that this, I had it boiling, and then I turned it down to a simmer. Now, always have to taste these and make sure these little nuggets are cooked. Yeah. They don't have much give it all. Yeah, here's the thing. Now I'm going to add in the ham that's already cooked. And yes, it'll give the flavor. I took out that old bay leaf. He did his job. I did it. Took him right out. Okay. Do I add salt? I'm not adding salt because the ham is salty. You could add it at the table. Do I add pepper? You know it. I'm a pepper girl. I'm a pepper. He's a pepper. Remember that? If you wanted this thicker, but mine's pretty thick. Can you see that? Pretty thick indeed. What you might want to do, remember my little trick with the instant mashed potatoes? Say I had a lot of broth and it's like, the lentils didn't swell up a lot. You just put a little bit of this on top and you're golden. Now, let me tell you something. When I first made bean soup, I tried to make it like my mom made it because I loved it. Regular navy bean soup. And I knew she washed the beans and soaked the beans and did all that. And so I tried to do my best to do that. But I made a huge mistake because even after 7 hours of cooking them, they were still hard. And I'm like, what is going on? I just could not figure it out. But what I did was I added this next ingredient too early. You'll see lentil soup and it's got a red hue to it. I don't do mine like that. You can do yours like that. You can add in a can of stewed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, whatever. Tomato sauce. My mom always used in the navy bean soup with ham ketchup. Don't laugh. I always say, look at the ingredients. It's like ketchup and vinegar and stuff. Or excuse me, tomatoes and vinegar and some garlic and spices and tomatoes. But here's a little thing. Any kind of acid with the beans, this is really important. Any kind of acid, if the beans aren't already cooked, if they're still not cooked, and you add in tomatoes or vinegar or something like that, I don't know the chemical reason it happens, but they're never going to get soft. They just kind of seize up. I think that little outside shell that seems to peel off, they just seize up and they will never get soft. So you have to cook them first, then you can add your acid or vinegar, the vinegar or ketchup or tomatoes or whatever. Now, do I do a lot of this? No. But I just do it to stir, and it really makes a big difference. You can even smell it in there, I'm going to add a little bit more, but look, I'm almost out of this Heinz. So I might even add some water to it. Waste not, want not. You hear me say that a whole lot, huh? So there you have it. Some lentil soup. I paused it a little bit to watch the rest of the football game. But it's all cooked. And I hope you can see that. Let me move it back. Me and this camera, huh? It's really good. We're going to have that with our little pulled pork sandwiches. There you have it.